Hey girlies, this is how I do the lace closure behind the hairline. I started off by braiding my client's natural hair. We shampooed, conditioned, trimmed, and now we're going back up. Her hair was kind of thick, so I did medium-sized braids. And then afterwards, I used the Main Beauty Growth Elixir in her hair. This is a lightweight oil, super absorbent, and you can use this even while having your install, and it won't be greasy. So these two braids right here, I left out because when she comes in for maintenance, she will be able to unbraid those braids because, you know, once they grow out, it's going to be loose. I used the little crochet thing and hooked them behind the braids so you can see here. That makes it, like I said, easy to do like a reinstall. We're using a 2x6 lace closure. As you saw, I cut it jagged. I didn't cut it straight across the edge. I did not pluck her closure either, okay? So I'm just anchoring it. I stretched it across her head to see, you know, make sure that it would be in the middle of her hair. And that's what I'm doing here. I did bring it like a little bit in front of the braid, as you can see there. Not too much because you don't want it to flap over the natural hair. So right in front of the braid, you know, just to leave it so it's not right at the edge. So if it grow out, you'll see a gap real soon. You want to keep in mind when you're doing that, you know, you don't want it too close to the natural hair because you don't want it to have a little flap in it. But you do want it to be over just enough to where if it grow out, it won't look like it's a separation between the hair and the closure. So right here, we get in a little bit closer and I'm just anchoring it. I do like a stitch on the left side of the hair and then I do one on the right edge of the lace closure, and then I go through the center. So I'm just showing you right here. This is me going through one end to anchor it, and you see it's stretched, okay? And then I'm going to go in on the other side like so. And then I'm gonna go lock it in through the center. This is what I'm talking about here. Those two arrows, that's where you need to be sewing onto that braid. And you know, also when you stretching it across, make sure you're not giving your client a headache or stretching it too much to where it pulls her braids from the, it pulls her braids and, you know, it's like too much tension. That makes it uncomfortable and you can risk, you know, pulling out her natural hair. So keep that in mind. Now I'm just cutting off those corners. So when we sew the hair in, you don't have to see, you know, like the edge of the lace or whatever. So here I am separating the hair with that braid that's right there because we're going to sew across the lace just to anchor it just a bit more so it don't slide back. So that's what I'm doing there. I'm just filling for that braid underneath where that part is, okay? And I'm just going in and I'm like doing an invisible stitch, meaning that you're not going to be able to see the thread. But I'm sewing onto that braid just to anchor it so it don't, you know, slide back, whatever, when it start growing out. So this just is, you know, ensuring that it lasts a little bit longer. And that's the braid that I'm talking about. So you should be able to feel that braid underneath the lace and, you know, just give it a couple of stitches through the braid and the lace, you know, so it doesn't, like I said, shift too much. Okay, so that's all I'm doing right here. And I try not to speed it up too much so you guys can see what I'm doing. But that's what I did. Like I said, it's an invisible stitch, so you don't see the, you know, thread. So then now I'm just securing the rest of the lace closure onto the braids all the way across. And when you sewing, you want to make sure that you're not pulling it too tight because you don't want to shift the closure again. And you don't want to pull it because sometimes what I used to do in the beginning, I would be sewing the closure like nothing. And then next thing you know, when I get to the front, the closure is like out of place. It looks pulled back or grown out already. So just be aware of your attention when you, you know, sewing it down around the back end of the lace closure. So now I'm just parting it, trying to see what's going on here. I know it look a little crazy. I know you like, girl, what's going on? I can still see it. Okay, so this is T right here, okay? get your Temptation spray or wherever you use your hair color stuff, and you are going to spray the edge of the lace right behind the hairline. And as you can see the difference a little bit. If you get I got a little spray on her forehead, so I was kind of wiping that off right there. But yeah, that's what I did. Not in the center, not across the whole lace, but just, that's why I parted her hair first, so you can see where you need to spray on those two corners or wherever you're going to part the hair. You want to make sure that you spray it black so it's camouflaged. The brown part of the lace is camouflaged with her natural hair, and that is key. Okay, and you see I'm just pressing and flat ironing it, just making sure that I can see my part or what have you, and making sure that it's flat, because I was a little thirsty. I'm like, let me see how this about to come out, so I had to do that. I put a net on. I sewed in the rest of her hair. This is her second install with the hair that she purchased from me at the salon. This is our virgin hair bundles in a 16-inch. And I'm just sewing that on. And this last track, you want to make sure that you, again, are not pulling on the lace closure. So I'm not sewing this track on the lace closure. I'm sewing it right behind it. Right at the edge of the lace closure, but not sewing on top of it, because like I said, you do not want to shift the closure in any way while you're doing your install. You'll be upset when it look like it's old already, when you take off, everything, and it look grown out already. So be careful when you are sewing your closure and your hair on, that you are not shifting that closure. Then I just went back in with the flat iron and just making sure that her hair is flat. And then I'm using a concealer in her hair color, like a neutral, not hair color, but her scalp color, a neutral tone. That's a NARS concealer. That's a good concealer, actually. But this one matched her hair better, so I used that. And then once I, colored in her lace and part, I sprayed Gots to Be, just to make sure that the makeup don't rub off or whatever while she might style her hair or whatever. So I just sprayed a little bit of it and blow dried it, to kind of set it and make sure that the makeup is in place or whatever. But now I'm just cutting her some layers. I'm about to style her hair, and you see I'm just going over, making sure that lace closure is flat. I'm using my T3s. This is a 1.75 for just a loose body wave type of look. Then I'll be going in with my Main Beauty edge control, and I will be laying her edges down at the front, so they stay in place. That's what I used. And I'm just combing and styling or whatever the case. Then I used also a little bit to lay the little flyaway hairs down in her closure. This is the final look. I think I did great. If you know any hacks or have any pointers, you can leave them in the comments. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments as well. And I hope you enjoyed. Follow for more.